dear friends, welcome to the Essentials of Inorganic Chemistry. I am your friend Dr. Vidi Bhatt, presently discussing a chapter entitled Reactions in Octahedral Complexes. This is the third talk in the series, and today I am going to discuss acid and base hydrolysis. In the process, we will also answer two very important questions. The first one is, why does the rate law not tell us anything about the mechanism of acid hydrolysis? And the second question will be, can we change the concentration of water in aqueous medium? So let us begin. First of all, I will give the definitions of acid hydrolysis and base hydrolysis. Now we know that the water molecule can act as a ligand and it can coordinate with metal ions in two different forms. The first form is as OH2 or H2O, where oxygen has the donor atom and it donates the electron pair. Even OH minus can coordinate with metal ions because of its negative charge. Now the substitution reaction in which the water molecule replaces some other ligand is in general known as hydrolysis reaction. The replacement of a ligand by water molecule as OH minus gives a hydroxo complex, and the reaction is known as base hydrolysis. The base hydrolysis occurs at pH greater than 10. An example of base hydrolysis reaction can be this. You have cobalt 3 amine complex, CO plus 3, then ammonia is a neutral ligand, 5 ammonia ligands, and then Cl minus as the sixth ligand. So the overall charge on the complex will be plus 2. When an nucleophilic attacking reagent OH minus attacks this substrate, then base hydrolysis takes place, and you will see that the chloro ligand is replaced by OH minus, and this is the product. So this type of reactions are called base hydrolysis reactions. The replacement of a ligand by water molecule as H2O itself gives a complex known as aquo complex or aqua complex, and the reaction is called acid hydrolysis. It is also known as aquation. The acid hydrolysis occurs at a pH less than 3, that is under acidic conditions. An equation corresponding to acid hydrolysis with the same substrate can be like this: CONA3,5Cl plus 2 plus H2O. Acid hydrolysis, here we mean that the pH is less than 3 and the chloro ligand is replaced by H2O. So these are the definitions of base hydrolysis and acid hydrolysis. Now we have already studied two popular mechanisms of substitution reactions in octahedral complexes. The first one was known as SN1 mechanism and the second one SN2 mechanism. If you have already attended the previous lecture, then just ask yourself a question: what is the main difference between SN1 and SN2 mechanism? Or I can reframe the question that using which criteria you can make out whether a particular reaction follows SN1 mechanism or SN2 mechanism. The answer to this question is, you know that SN1 mechanism is a unimolecular mechanism, and the rate of SN1 mechanism depends only on the concentration of the substrate. So for some reaction, if you know that the mechanism is either SN1 or SN2, then what you have to do is you have to change the concentration of the substrate and see whether the rate of the reaction is changing or not. Now let me explain you the characteristic of SN2 mechanism. In case of SN2 mechanism, the rate of the reaction depends on the concentration of the substrate and attacking reagent. So for any given reaction, if you know that the mechanism is either SN1 or SN2, then you have to find out whether the rate of the reaction depends on the concentration of the substrate only, or it depends on the concentrations of the substrate as well as attacking reagent. If the rate depends on two quantities, then the mechanism has to be SN2. But if it depends only on one, then the mechanism is SN1. Now let us go ahead into the mechanism of acid hydrolysis in 6 coordinated cobalt 3 amine complexes. So this can be the same example, CONH3,5Cl plus 2 plus H2O, and then you want to replace the chloro ligand by H2O ligand. If this reaction is carried out in aqueous medium, that is, if the solvent used for the reaction is water, then what happens? Water plays a double role. In this reaction, the water will be solvent and the water will also be the attacking reagent or the nucleophile. Now, why do we always select this CONH3,5Cl plus 2 for the examples? The main reason is that if we take ammonia as ligand, as a non-living group, it will become a non-living group. It will not leave easily because ammonia cannot be readily replaced by water molecule. So what happens? You have CONH3,5Cl and you want to carry out acid hydrolysis. You want to replace some ligand. The 5 ammonia molecules cannot be replaced by water. So only the chloro ligand will be replaced. So this is the reason why we select this particular cobalt 3 amine complexes. Let us come back to the discussion. From the rate laws corresponding to SN1 and SN2 mechanism, we have seen that, this I have already told you, but once again I am repeating. It is the effect of change in nucleophile concentration on the rate which allows us to know the mechanism. See, the wordings have little bit changed, otherwise the things are same. This statement is more precise. See, you want to know whether the mechanism is SN1 or SN2. In case of SN1, the rate depends only on the concentration of substrate. In case of SN2, the rate depends on concentration of substrate as well as nucleophile. So, if I combine these two statements, then a single statement will be, just find out whether the change in concentration of nucleophile changes the rate of the reaction or not. If it changes, then the mechanism is SN2. If it does not change, then the mechanism is SN1. That is how it goes. But this is not as simple as it appears, because I will explain you why. While carrying out this reaction in aqueous medium, it is impossible to change the concentration of nucleophile. water is the nucleophile in this case. If we carry out this reaction using water as solvent, you cannot change the concentration of the water. So it will not be possible to see the effect of change in concentration of water. Why you cannot change the concentration of water in aqueous medium? The answer is like this. The concentration of water in aqueous solutions is always constant and it is 55.5 molar. Now you know this M is the symbol for molarity and the unit of molarity is moles per liter. How did this number 55.5 come? I will explain you. Consider that you have 1 liter of water. Now in case of water, you know the specific gravity and density are equal to 1. Therefore, 1 liter water is equal to 1 kilogram water. When it is about water, 1 kilogram is equal to 1 liter. Now I want to measure or calculate the molarity of water in 1 liter water. Now what is molarity? Molarity is moles per liter. Number of moles per liter is called molarity. And what is mole? It is a molecular weight. The molecular weight of water is 18. The molecular weight of water is 18 gram per mole. So you have to find out that how many moles of water are there in 1000 ml or 1 liter or 1000 gram of water. That answer will be 1000 divided by 18. Just think over it a little bit and you will be able to understand. And 1000 by 18 is equal to 55.5. So water contains 55.5 moles of water. Even if I take 100 ml instead of 1000 ml, that is 1 liter, then also it will come same. You will have to divide 100 by 18 and you will get 5.5, but moles per liter, so it has to be multiplied. 5.5 for 100 ml, so 55.5 for 1000 ml. So in short, the quantity of water in water always remains same and therefore the concentration of water in water always remains constant. It cannot be changed. So if you cannot change the concentration of water, that is the nucleophile, then you cannot study the effect of change in concentration of water. And if you cannot study this effect, then you cannot know whether the reaction follows SN1 mechanism or SN2 mechanism. So the inability to change the nucleophile concentration does not permit us to distinguish the rate loss for SN1 and SN2 mechanism. Thus, the rate loss cannot provide any information regarding the mechanism of acid hydrolysis which is carried out in aqueous medium. So, I think this is all about today's lecture, and in the next lecture I will be discussing the mechanism of base hydrolysis and I shall try to answer the questions. First one is what is SN1CB mechanism, and I will also explain you that why removable proton on non-living group accelerates the rate of base hydrolysis. So till then, thank you and goodbye.